when things don't go the way you want. Isn't that what we all have to deal with? No matter what in life, we encounter moments where we feel like it just doesn't go the way we expected, or it just doesn't feel like it's panning out. I know it may sound like a bit of a deja vu because I did touch on this topic in so many different ways, but I feel like there's just never enough conversations on that. And, you know, I was observant of a couple of things that happened with me personally, but around me as well. And you hear all these stories of people bumping into these very important moments in their lives that leads them to have to deal with the disappointment sometimes, the frustration a lot of the time as well, and the sort of that discouragement that come along with all these emotions that you encounter when things don't work out the way you expected them to be working out. You see, and please remember that you can always jump in the chat and share informations and thoughts on the conversation, so don't be shy. um I'm going to talk about what I know, what I've experienced, and kind of like what is my approach to dealing with these moments of disappointments. Delia, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to Emmanuel, Eliana, Mountain of Inspiration, and everyone else connected. I appreciate your presence. And please feel free to share the link to this show. Also, let it be known that we are live. Feel free to also support the show with donations, super chats, super stickers. You can make donations via cryptocurrencies as well, and of course, purchase the merch. You already know the steez. So you see, I'm going to take a very interesting example. A couple of weeks ago, I started the thing as we were being reconfined in Portugal. I started the conversation. Hey, what do you do, Mike Phoenix? I started this thing called Confinement Talks as part of the Monday Quality Talks series, and kind of like an extra. And the idea for this show was to bring in people from different backgrounds, but from areas and experiences that really resonated with the type of things that I'm interested in general. Estelle, what do you do? Welcome. And so it started beautifully. I believe I did 3 confinement talks. And oh my God, what a beautiful, beautiful energy that was. 3 or 2. I'm kind of confused now. Anyway, it really felt like it felt, and it still is. I mean, it's still gonna go through. I'm most certainly going to be changing the name to the show to fit the actuality. Obviously, it's not going to be Confinement Talks anymore, but I really had big ideas, and I wanted to push this to a space where I would host more influential people from different areas of expertise. So we had some amazing, remarkable names. It's some of these talks, including the first one, created a lot of controversy with some of my guests. One of my guests in particular, which was interesting to see that this little thing that I started, which started in a humble way, like it's just me gathering guys that I like, that I may not know necessarily, but most of them I do know. But just gathering just guys that will come together with me, and we would just talk about given topics, but nothing futile. You know what I mean? Always trying to touch on things that really can elevate the viewer and and just bringing perspective on the topics we would be talking on. And so I wanted to do the following one, and yeah, after the third one, I wanted to do the fourth episode, and the guests that I wanted to gather and to bring on board. Some of them were like, nah, I don't really feel comfortable to really, be out there. I'm a guy of the, I like to be behind the, behind the curtains, and I don't want to be out there. So I was like, I understand, it's cool. And I just kind of like, stopped doing it. And at the same time, I was like, dang it, man, here I started something, and then it's not really going as I planned. What a shitty frustration. But anyway, you know what? I've dealt all my life with so many times and so many moments of frustration that I've learned to build a muscle that's like, you know what? Let me pick myself back up and move on. It's okay. And so, you see, I could easily choose to feel like I'm a fraud, like I am starting things that I don't finish, that I am incapable, all sorts of like downgrading kind of words and consideration about myself and my ability to do anything. And a lot of people have unfortunately the tendency to do that to themselves, but then blame others for either letting them do that to themselves, or just for the sake of blaming others instead of taking, responsibility for how they portray themselves. I think that this is something that really comes, as far as I'm concerned, from my childhood, I would say, because back in Central African Republic, in Bria, for example, as a kid, you could clearly say that I was the son of rich people. My parents were very comfortable financially, and my friends, most of them were not necessarily. So, as any kid coming from that kind of background, you would expect that kid to be rather spoiled, to be, a bit of a little moron. Let's just put it this way. Which I think to a certain extent I was, but because my father being such a strict man, there was no real room for nonsense and stupidities, should I say. Therefore, it quickly got to me that I was not going to be enabled the capacity to make excuses for any of my shortcomings. And my boys at the time were very good at making me face them, and in such a way that it would actually be a thing to bully one another. Well, make fun, which nowadays would be considered bullying, and the kids, and it's like you're overprotecting, which to a certain extent is good, overprotecting your kids. I mean, protecting your kids, but overprotecting them doesn't help them. And I remember, we would be going out during the day. Those were different times, of course, fishing and wandering about. And when you were, out and about like that with your homies, you would always encounter a couple of like, thugs, little wannabe thugs, and there would be some little fights going on. And, had you started the fight, whatnot, you would have to indeed, obviously, be accountable for it. And you were not given space or opportunity to feel shitty about yourself, because, you just had to look after your crew and your guys and this and that. So there was a sense of camaraderie, of brotherhood that made it such that there was a sense of support and accountability. That doesn't mean that there was no bullying, that there was no exaggeration of such kind, but I would have to say that the camaraderie and all of these things really helped sort of like get me off my horse if I wanted to be that kind of kid, or if I had dared very quickly get me off of these horses and made me realize that I was no better than anyone. And that was fantastic. That was a great thing that helped me also understand that I was no less than anyone. And so you'll see the funny part is that when things don't go out, don't go the way you want in the first place, there's a tendency to feel sorry for yourself, and to blame others or blame a given situation for what it is that you're going through. And so basically the this thing is acting up because I don't think Keisha is here, so I don't know why it's giving me this information. Anyway, yeah, it's been acting up like that last Friday. I have to check what's going on with Streamlabs. What was I saying? I just lost the course of something. These kind of things tend to throw me off, especially when I'm focused. Yeah. So, you know, you have a tendency to, you know, feel sorry for yourself, etc. The moment I was told, for example, by my friends that I was capable of doing something, I believe I've touched on that before, basketball. I wanted to be a professional basketball player. And I was told by my uncle, or I was bullied or even made to believe that I was not good enough. And so basically that kind of created a situation where, you know, there was a massive sense of challenge that came upon me. Like I was like, oh shit, you know, I have no choice now but to really be as sharp as I can possibly be and stop messing about, right? So my friends and my entourage, or my people at the time, my guys, my homies, really helped me, you know, kind of like overcome, you know, this sense of failure. By the way, sorry for all these little things that are coming up. I don't know why Streamlabs is acting up these days. Let me actually just remove it from the screen, because it's better like that. So all of us, we went through these moments, we went through these phases where, oh shit, you know, we have people around us who don't believe in us, and then you have others who do. And this is exactly where my point is, right? I want to emphasize on the fact that, you see, when you are a kid, and when you want to be accepted, you tend to do certain things a certain way. You know what I mean? You're trying to really, you know, you try to be accepted. You try to be part of the crew. You want to fit in. But I was told at an early age that that fitting in was not necessarily important, because there's a thing that says that if you're unique, you know, you can't try to fit in just for the sake of fitting in, you know, and try to be accepted for the sake of being accepted. But again, when you evolve in an environment where, you know, it's not just you for you, it's you for the others, there's a sense of there's a true sense of accountability that makes it such that, you know, you don't cry when things don't go the way you want, right? You just pick yourself back up, you collect whatever you can collect that fell apart, and you keep moving.